Hello there, Acura of Pleasanton. This is Coach Stephanie with part 2 of your mystery shop. I submitted a request on September the 2nd at 4:31 p.m. and received a phone call from Stephen at 4:52 p.m. and got this email in my inbox at 4:38 p.m. Stephen, really nice job on emailing the customer in less than 15 minutes, but be sure that you call the customer in less than 15 minutes as well. Taking a look at the email that you sent me before you spoke to me, the email does have an attention-grabbing subject line. It did go into my inbox. It clearly defines the purpose of the email in the subject line, which is nice because we want the customer to open the email, so great job. The email is actually perfect. You did attempt to validate the decision of the vehicle with positive or industry information about the vehicle. The email is free of spelling and grammatical errors. You did give me a specific information on what I inquired about as far as pricing, and you also gave me addressed availability on the vehicle and gave me a link back to your website in your signature file so that I could visit your website and take a look at additional vehicles or additional pricing. Also, the email does give a brief value statement, but I want you to be sure that you not only give a value statement in your email, but also in your phone call as well. The email also has, like I said, a free of spelling and grammatical errors, and it's actually everything that it needs to be for an email that you send before you speak to the customer. And this is the one that I graded, which was going to give you your best score. But I want you to keep in mind that we want to email the customer after we speak to them. You did send me an email today, actually, but we actually had spoken on the 2nd, and you really want to get an email out to the customer within 15 minutes after you hang up with them. And the email should have an attention-grabbing subject line that's clear who it's from. The email should also have a line in there where you thank the customer for their time on the phone. You want to be sure that you give a value statement in that email. You want to confirm next steps and remind them of whatever you agreed to in your email as far as whether you scheduled an appointment or whether you got a tentative time or whether you schedule a phone follow-up. And I need you to see part 3 of the shop so that you can pick up the tips and tricks that I coached you on in the phone call portion. You did really well up until asking for the appointment, and then when you go for the appointment, you want to be sure to ask with authority in that either-or format. If you can't get an appointment, go for a tentative time, and then as a last resort, lock down a day to at least follow up with the customer. We never want to depend on them to call us back. Then whatever you agree to, when you send them the email afterwards, you should remind them of that. The reason that we want to send a personalized email after we speak to the customer is just to be sure that we continue to build rapport with that customer and that we remind them of the information we discussed in the phone call so that they have it in writing, because a lot of people don't take notes when they're on the phone. You also want to be sure that the email has a nice value statement like the one you gave in the email that you sent before we spoke and a complete signature file. So just be sure in future that you do get an email out within less than 15 minutes. I did not grade this one because you got a better score by me grading the one that you sent me before we spoke. But in future, I want you to be sure to send them one within less than 15 minutes. Thanking for their time on the phone and confirming next steps, giving a value statement, be sure it's free of spelling and grammatical errors, has a complete signature file, and has definitely a attention-grabbing subject line like the one you sent before we spoke, okay? So keep up the hard work and keep practicing. Your secret code for today is 5, F-I-V-E 5, because you're well on your way to getting that perfect 5, and I know you can do it. Have a great day.